Welcome back to our channel, the place where hidden chapters, royal secrets, and the stories the palace won't publish finally come to light. Today, we bring you a breaking news: Meghan's dirty yacht secrets. Out Harry snaps in total rage. A notable dispute has arisen over members of the British royal family, centering on revived suspicions regarding the history of Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex. The recent surge of media interest and public discourse has been extensively reported as having been initiated by remarks ascribed to Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York. The comments, disseminated through news articles and online discourse, purportedly connected Meghan Markle to the social sphere of Prince Andrew, a figure whose reputation has been significantly damaged due to his association with Jeffrey Epstein and allegations of sexual misconduct made by Virginia Giuffre. The dissemination of Ferguson's alleged comments has revived a collection of long-standing, unsubstantiated rumors regarding Markle's life prior to her royal status, creating a complex and challenging situation for the monarchy and the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. The controversy centers on a widely reported assertion that Sarah Ferguson referred to Meghan Markle as Prince Andrew's first client. The exact phrasing, context, and validation of this purported remark have been contested and remain subjects of ongoing discourse in the media. However, the phrase once circulated had an immediate effect. Numerous readers and commenters saw the phrase as an implied indication that Markle possessed some connection, be it social, financial, or transactional, to the concerning environment associated with Prince Andrew. This association is particularly incendiary due to Andrew's established connections to Jeffrey Epstein, a convicted sex offender, and the civil charges made by Virginia Giuffre that culminated in a settlement. Despite the absence of a formal determination against Andrew in certain issues, the mere association of his name with Markle's has profoundly detrimental ramifications for reputations and public perception. The said remark acted as a trigger for the revival of enduring and predominantly unfounded rumors that have persisted in tabloids, internet forums, and social media platforms for years. At the core of such stories is the disparaging phrase "yacht girl," employed pejoratively to suggest that women acted as compensated companions or escorts for affluent men aboard opulent ships. Critics have consistently sought to contextualize Meghan Markle during her tenure as a Hollywood actress and prior to her connection with Prince Harry. Proponents of the allegations sometimes cite her travel history and social activities prior to her royal affiliation as circumstantial proof, which is subsequently reinterpreted and exaggerated into more grave implications. The previously disparate insinuations and marginal conjectures were abruptly recontextualized by many as a more plausible claim purely due to the suggestion's source being identified as an insider and someone with familial connections to Prince Andrew. Reports detailing the response inside royal circles to Ferguson's purported statement conveyed an immediate sense of apprehension. According to media reports, insiders indicated that a sense of panic permeated Buckingham Palace, prompting senior advisors to convene for urgent deliberations to devise a response. The situation confronting the monarchy is intricate and exceptionally hazardous. A vigorous public defense of Meghan Markle might inadvertently shift focus back to Prince Andrew, thereby intensifying examination of his behavior and the institution's management of his affiliations, an eventuality the palace has diligently sought to prevent. A calculated official quiet may be interpreted as implicit endorsement of the rumor, enabling the narrative to gain traction and cause additional reputational damage to the Duchess and, by extension, to the royal family. This tension between the dangers of exacerbating the charge and the risks of seeming complicit via silence demonstrates the limited policy alternatives accessible to a hereditary organization that conventionally opts to manage its reputation through discretion and secrecy. This episode transcends mere tabloid rumor, as the purported source is an insider rather than an anonymous online commentator or a conjectural freelance writer. Sarah Ferguson is a prominent royal figure, the former spouse of Prince Andrew and the mother of Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie. When an individual of Ferguson's stature makes a remark regarding another family member, the comments is often perceived differently than if it had come from outside the familial context. An insider's comment can be interpreted as possessing a distinct authority. It may be viewed as a purposeful signal, a strategic disclosure, or a measured caution. A royal analyst noted that when a figure such as Ferguson talks, her statements may be perceived as more calculated than simply gossip. Consequently, the purported remark transformed what had previously existed on the periphery of public discourse, conspiracy theory-like allegations, and insinuations into the focal point of a mainstream royal crisis. The evolution necessitated an engagement with issues of reputation allegiance and the persistent divisions that define the contemporary monarchy. To understand the intensity of the disagreement, it is crucial to place the current assertions within their historical background. The criticisms directed at Meghan Markle did not stem from Ferguson's alleged remarks. Instead, they have been a persistent motif in critical discourse around the Duchess since her emergence as a public figure alongside Prince Harry. Prior to her marriage to the royal family, Meghan Markle established a career as an actress, most prominently in the legal drama series Suits, where she played the role of Rachel Zane. Simultaneously, she upheld a public lifestyle brand via her blog The Tig, and engaged in humanitarian efforts serving as a worldwide ambassador for World Vision and lobbying for the United Nations organization, UN Women. Her public appearance during that period highlighted ambition, eloquent public involvement, and social activism traits that numerous observers characterized as emblematic of a contemporary media-savvy public figure maneuvering across the competitive landscapes of Hollywood and philanthropy. In this pre-royal period, Markle's career and public engagements inherently required travel networking and participation in prominent social events activities that are typical in the entertainment sector. Critics have exploited elements of her background, reinterpreting them as indications of more dramatic behavior. The yacht girl narrative seeks to reinterpret commonplace socializing and networking as transactional or ethically questionable. It often depends on the judicious utilization of visual evidence and isolated narratives. A frequently disseminated photograph of Markle donning a sun hat on a boat has been consistently portrayed as definitive evidence of her involvement in elite yachting gatherings with affluent benefactors. The utilization of a solitary image or excerpt of travel information extracted from its context exemplifies how visual evidence can be recontextualized to bolster sensational tales, although lacking direct substantiation for the more grave assertions being made. The phrase yachting or yacht girl has developed a significant connotation in certain segments of online discussions. The phrase in critical threads, rarely used in daily conversation, is often employed to imply escort-like conduct, suggesting scandal without offering evidence. Online groups and social media platforms antagonistic towards the Duchess frequently utilize this terminology as a concise means of disparagement, and the term's recurrence across several channels enhances its perceived credibility among some viewers. The efficacy of coded language resides not only in its substance, but also in its dissemination and amplification. Repetition and the semblance of consensus create the sense of validation even in the absence of evidence. The new escalation intensified as it merged the yacht girl implication with the already explosive controversy involving Prince Andrew. The charges transition from ambiguous implications regarding lifestyle to a serious connection with established criminality and reputational degradation by purportedly linking Meghan to Andrew's social network. This connection significantly enhances the perceived legitimacy of older allegations among certain observers and escalates the stakes for Meghan, who now risks being publicly associated with one of the most detrimental incidents in recent royal history. The transition transforms a protracted defamation campaign into an allegation imbued with the seriousness of a distinct notorious scandal. An associated allegation that emerged concurrently with the Ferguson stories asserts that Markle was acquainted with both Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson before to her public introduction to the royal family. This assertion directly contradicts Ferguson's public denial, in which she claimed she did not know Meghan until invited to the Sussexes' wedding. If the assertion of prior acquaintance were accurate, it would raise inquiries about the nature of those previous contacts and potentially undermine the veracity of public claims made by several family members. The mere suggestion of inconsistencies in time frames or associations, regardless of its veracity, is likely to incite additional conjecture and mistrust regarding the internal coherence of the family's public narratives. An essential inquiry in evaluating this episode is the rationale for Sarah Ferguson's purportedly detrimental remark. Observers and royal insiders have proposed various interpretations, each indicating distinct probable motives, ranging from personal animosity to strategic maneuvers aimed at securing personal advantage or altering the broader media narrative of the royal institution. One narrative posits that the comment originated from personal animosity or retribution. Sarah Ferguson, commonly referred to as Fergie, has historically held an unstable position within the royal sphere. Subsequent to her divorce from Prince Andrew and several public controversies in the 1990s, she was predominantly sidelined by the monarchy's inner circles, but she maintained a close personal connection with Andrew and an enduring relationship with their daughters. Certain critics have suggested that Ferguson may have admired Meghan Markle's ability to cultivate and control a formidable personal brand, particularly following Meghan's prominent marriage into the family and her subsequent choice, alongside Harry, to seek an autonomous existence beyond the institution. According to this argument, Ferguson may have viewed Markle as a younger, more accomplished outsider who achieved what Ferguson herself could not, thereby fostering a sense of rivalry. A former royal aide's statement that this wasn't revenge, it was retaliation, was intended to emphasize the notion of enduring animosity. By associating Markle with Andrew's disreputable circle, Ferguson would effectively seek to entangle a perceived adversary in the same realm of controversy that previously ensnared her. Another view characterizes the purported remark as a calculated diversionary strategy. Prince Andrew remains a significant problem for the monarchy. Notwithstanding the rescission of numerous honorary military positions and patronages, his connection to Jeffrey Epstein and the associated charges have created a lasting impact. From this viewpoint, invoking Meghan Markle's name in the dispute may have been a strategy to divert public and media scrutiny from Andrew by generating a new dramatic narrative with another prominent royal figure. In media discourse, crises frequently represent a zero-sum scenario. The attention devoted to one narrative might diminish the visibility of another. If the objective were to redirect public discourse from Andrew to the Sussexes, the method would involve fabricating or magnifying a controversy, compelling enough to monopolize headlines and social media timelines. Characterizing this as a royal diversion tactic encapsulates the transactional rationale to sacrifice or at minimum jeopardize the reputation of one individual to safeguard another. A third line of conjecture suggests that the purported speech might have been employed as leverage in an intra-family power struggle. Sarah Ferguson's financial situation has garnered public scrutiny, and her official status within the monarchy has shown variability. It has been proposed that the perceived disclosure or potential disclosure of detrimental information may serve as a strategy for her to re-establish significance, negotiate a reinstatement of favor, or obtain other advantages. The source material indicated that the royal family may be in negotiations with Ferguson, possibly providing compensation or reinstatement in exchange for information that may be utilized to discredit the Sussexes. This idea, however theoretical and lacking public proof, depicts an organization where information functions as currency and concealed allegiances can be strategically utilized. A person who views herself as having minimal stakes, having nothing to lose after forfeiting her Royal Highness title as initially speculated, may be more inclined to adopt scorched earth strategies, utilizing previous affiliations as leverage in an intense struggle for influence and narrative dominance. Irrespective of the actual intent, the impact of the purported action has been to alter the prevailing royal narrative. News cycles that could have focused on the aims or initiatives of King Charles or Prince William and his household were temporarily redirected by the emerging crisis. The episode illustrates the ability of peripheral figures, those not in the direct line of succession or lacking formal royal positions, to create significant upheaval through strategically timed words or leaked information. Even from the periphery, such players can influence the public agenda and destabilize the meticulously curated image the institution has historically aimed to uphold. The repercussions of the issue have been profoundly experienced by Prince Harry and Meghan Markle at their residence in Montecito, California. Sources cited in media accounts allegedly close to the marriage depicted a household caught off guard and profoundly disturbed by what they perceived as a coordinated defamation effort. Prince Harry's reaction reportedly transitioned from incredulity to intense fury. His and his wife's choice to withdraw from active royal responsibilities and relocate to the United States was officially characterized as an effort to evade a detrimental and invasive tabloid culture that had adversely affected his mental well-being and familial relationships. The revelation of a detrimental narrative originating from the extended family rather than from the tabloids which he has consistently condemned would consequently be particularly distressing. Reports indicated Prince Harry sought to ascertain the origin of the leak and felt profoundly betrayed by the royal family's public reticence. For a guy who has frequently articulated his commitment to safeguarding his wife in light of his mother's circumstances, this incident would have been regarded as a blatant and personal insult. Meghan Markle's reaction, as characterized by her associates, appeared to be mostly strategic. Familiar with the tumult of public relations issues from her career, she allegedly focused on containment and maintaining the family's business and brand momentum. Proponents of the couple stated that she was very troubled by what she termed character assassination, although her foremost priority was ensuring stability for their household and safeguarding their Archewell initiative, which focuses on philanthropy and social impact. Nevertheless, the reputational harm caused by these allegations, regardless of their lack of substantiation, is tangible. The conjecture contributes to enduring critical narratives that aim to depict Meghan as overly ambitious or reticent regarding her history, thereby undermining her claimed identity as a humanitarian and public advocate. Officially, Buckingham Palace's response has been marked by notable quiet. The palace has neither confirmed nor denied the veracity of the allegations attributed to Sarah Ferguson, nor has it publicly defended the Duchess of Sussex. This stance aligns with a long-standing institutional principle linked to the royal household: never complain, never explain. Traditionally, this strategy has been employed to mitigate the potential for prolonging a scandal through public discourse or to evade legal repercussions. In the current age of immediate social media distribution and incessant 24/7 news cycles, this silence is frequently perceived as insufficient by numerous onlookers. Supporters of the Sussexes consider the palace's silence as simply another example of the institution's failure to safeguard Meghan, reflecting complaints expressed in prominent interviews. Critics suggest that the quiet may indicate a deliberate choice to avoid involvement in a scandal that could exacerbate public scrutiny of the Sussexes. Despite external interpretations, the silence indicates that palace officials are meticulously considering their choices, as any public engagement entails considerable dangers. The episode has also offered a revitalized platform for enduring third-party assertions and a multitude of online speculations that have persisted for years. Two specific sets of statements have been consistently emphasized following the Ferguson findings. The initial matter pertains to Tom Inskip, recognized in public records as one of Prince Harry's closest associates. A prevailing story suggests that Inskip and his spouse were excluded from the Sussexes' nighttime wedding reception due to Inskip's admonition to Harry regarding his marriage to Meghan. The rumor additionally claims that those warnings were predicated on prior awareness of elements of Meghan's history. Some versions of the narrative even imply that Inskip had met her in contexts linked to yacht parties. Although it is confirmed that Inskip and his wife did not participate in the evening reception, the exact rationale for their absence remains a subject of private reasoning and conjecture. The suggestion that it was due to Inskip's purported warnings or his familiarity with Meghan's past lacks substantiation. Nevertheless, Due to the established nature of the exclusion and the propensity of rumors to gravitate towards factual voids, this gap has been utilized in certain circles to bolster wider unsubstantiated narratives of initial apprehensions among Harry's social circle. The second group of allegations pertains to John Lefebvre, the author and social media figure recognized for the GS Elevator account, which gained notoriety for its humorous and purportedly overheard excerpts of dialogues within investment banking environments. Lefebvre has issued multiple public statements on Meghan Markle on sites including Twitter. In December 2022, he expressed skepticism on Twitter regarding Harry's assertion of meeting Meghan through Instagram, stating, "Amazingly, that's not the first prince she met online," and subsequently made unsubstantiated claims that she had served as a yacht companion. In later posts, he escalated his rhetoric by alleging that Meghan was controlled by the same forces that controlled Jeffrey Epstein, thereby establishing an unsupported comparative connection. Lefebvre's assertions, however unsubstantiated, have been magnified by his substantial online audience and by social media mechanisms that incentivize sensationalism through participation and visibility. The result is the entrenchment of suspicion and the establishment of a feedback loop in which fringe assertions are perpetually disseminated, thus fostering an online echo chamber that imparts a semblance of credence to completely unfounded complaints. The purported Ferguson remark and these external allegations illustrate how a singular prominent rumor can function as a focal point around which a multitude of additional claims coalesce. In the modern media landscape, narratives are often formed by accumulation. New accusations serve as catalysts for pre-existing doubts, while earlier doubts are revitalized by new insinuative information. Once this process commences, it can be exceedingly challenging to extricate the overarching narrative from public awareness, even if specific components of the mosaic remain utterly unsubstantiated. Social media algorithms, the economics of click-driven journalism, and the human tendency to recall vivid or sensational narratives all contribute to the persistence of such stories. The controversy surrounding Sarah Ferguson's purported comments is not simply tabloid material or transient gossip. It reflects broader conflicts and systemic weaknesses within the contemporary House of Windsor. This incident underscores the monarchy's persistent challenge to manage its narrative amidst the proliferation of disseminated information. Conventional methods of message control, private advisement, meticulously planned public appearances, and sporadic, covert legal actions are increasingly ineffective when insiders can propagate rumors which are then magnified on social media and embraced by an insatiable global media landscape. This incident seemingly originated from within the royal milieu, according to certain reports, which is particularly destabilizing. It indicates that the monarchy's most significant threats may arise not solely from external sources, but also from internal conflicts and strategic disclosures. For Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, this episode serves as a poignant reminder that moving to another nation does not inherently shield them from the familial aspects of their marriage. Despite their desire for physical separation and the pursuit of autonomy in California, the shadow of the crown continues to be a pervasive transnational influence that may traverse seas, complicating their private lives and impacting their public pursuits. These claims undermine the core of the personal narrative integral to the couple's public persona, a romantic saga that resulted in a significant transformation of royal customs and has been promoted by advocates as a progressive force. By exploiting elements of the past, whether factual or purported, the debate might destabilize the narrative consistency of that account and reinvigorate divisions in public opinions of the pair. The incident has re-established Sarah Ferguson in the forefront of royal examination, highlighting that influence within the monarchy is not exclusively determined by formal titles or closeness to the throne. Access to knowledge, the timeliness of revelation, and the readiness to participate in the public competition for reputation are essential sources of power. Regardless of whether Ferguson's involvement in this matter was deliberate, inadvertent, or inaccurately portrayed, The overarching consequence has been to underscore to onlookers that the monarchy is a human institution made up of individuals with conflicting loyalties, grievances, and aspirations. Knowledge, when utilized in the public domain, can resonate in unpredictable ways that no organization can entirely foresee. The intricate network of allegations, motives, and replies surrounding this tragedy leaves numerous questions unresolved. The assertions regarding Meghan Markle's alleged history, however prominent in public discourse, remain predominantly unsubstantiated, enveloped in years of conjecture and insinuation rather than evidence. The reasons behind Sarah Ferguson's purported comments, whether they were misreported, a deliberate act of retribution, a diversionary tactic, or a strategy for negotiation, may remain permanently ambiguous. The case clearly demonstrates that the narrative conflict between the Sussexes and segments of the royal family persists, and such incidents further undermine already tenuous reservoirs of confidence. As the initial turmoil abates, the monarchy must contend with enduring repercussions, reduced ability to regulate public discourse, heightened internal factionalism, and the persistent decline of public confidence in its capability to address crises empathetically and consistently. The public faces a challenging interpretive dilemma, tasked with assessing conflicting accounts of events and determining which sources and perspectives to trust. In the lack of clear, verified information, diverse audiences will reach varying judgments, frequently influenced by their pre-existing ideas, regarding the monarchy, the media, and the persons concerned. The outcome is a disjointed information landscape, where reconciling conflicting narratives gets increasingly difficult with each new accusation. The controversy encompasses not merely historical actions or personal responsibility. It pertains to the future of the monarchy's rapport with a public that engages with news across various platforms and seeks enhanced transparency and accountability, despite the institution's ongoing emphasis on discretion and reserve. Until more conclusive proof surfaces, if it ever does, the incident will likely persist as a lingering issue in the relationships among the persons involved, and serve as a warning illustration of how contemporary media dynamics may exacerbate personal disputes into institutional crises. The monarchy's forthcoming actions, whether they entail ongoing silence, subtle negotiation, or public statements, will be meticulously examined for insights into the family's internal unity and the institution's ability to navigate an increasingly uncontrollable information landscape. For Meghan and Harry, the reemergence of allegations serves as a continual reminder that the ramifications of marrying into and subsequently distancing themselves from the royal family persist in both expected and unforeseen manners, altering their lives' public endeavors, and their connection with an institution whose influence extends well beyond the confines of the palace. Thank you for watching the video. Please let us know your thoughts, and goodbye for the time being.